Here's 5 millionaire habits I'm going to be reintroducing into my life. And the first one goes like this: whatever my brain says, let's do the opposite. The brain is an interesting, magnificent, creature, you could say. The brain is the reason I'm here today. I'm able to do what I'm doing, and it's the reason I've been able to come thus far, right? Sounds obvious. The brain is also the thing that will tell you, hey, let's watch Netflix, let's chill, let's sleep in, let's do illicit activities, let's waste a bunch of time. When you're a kid, let's eat sugary candy. Yeah, let's run around a lot aimlessly for no reason, which theoretically is actually really good for your health, right? But the point is, this dopamine is not a bad thing. It's fine as long as it's basically productive in terms of the output that, when you're doing the thing, what is that output? So, for example, if I'm getting dopamine by making this video because I'm happy to share my thoughts, I wish there was video just like this, when I was younger to watch. It gets me excited to know that, hey, at least if one person, man, one person gets value out of this, guess what? It's like me talking one on one with someone, which means what? I don't need to spend the same time for the same message to go through to the other person on the other side. So if you appreciate that, like I appreciate it too, and I'm happy that this medium of exchange of information, of communication, is not with me needing to spend my time physically, other than me doing it this one time. And then afterwards, GG, good game, keeps on going, right? So that's the first one, with the second one being something that sounds very obvious, but I'll tell you a little more. Exercise. Not just exercising, let's say, the physical nature of our body, but exercising the mind as well. What I realized is that I actually exercise my mind a lot, like compared to let's say, the average individual. My mind is racing, running, and all these things, right? Like I'm really using it, to be honest with you. And physically, am I the number one athlete? Am I one with a six pack right now? Like, no, I'm not. And I can do better, much better. The point is, I've chosen to say, like, okay, my mind is sharp, very blessed in that way, and I'm using it. But I also want to exercise like the physical nature of it because they're connected, whether we like it or not. So the point is, what got you here may not get you there. In other words, if I just think really hard, I'm going to get a six pack tomorrow, it's going to happen. Like, no, man. Like, I mean, magic exists, let's say, right? But jokes aside, that's not reality, right? So exercising not just, physically, but different portions or areas of your life, whatever that means, right? So it's basically about this third point, which is more coming to like more journaling slash reflecting, where you're knowing like, okay, hey, if I do X, what is the outcome? Not just in the immediate term, like, oh, if I eat, whatever meal, like, oh, I'm going to eat 1,500 worth of calories in this one meal. I don't know if it's that healthy, and how does that look if I eat then 5,000 calories in a day and I'm not working out? Am I going to gain weight slowly but surely? Like, that's minutia. The point is, I'm not saying now or today or not even tomorrow necessarily or next week. They say the most dangerous people in the world are the people who think in decades. And in general, like, it doesn't take tens of years to make $1 million. It can if you aren't, let's say, in the right vehicle, participating in the right vehicle, or just, you're doing some process that I would be shocked that if you really were trying, you don't need to try that hard, like in terms of time. But effort, I understand, right? The effort could be there. You can make it really fast. You can put more effort and just kind of, take as long as you want. But if you wanted to get somewhere fast, it doesn't need to be 40 years to make $1 million. I'll guarantee that personally, right? Because that's like 25K a year times 40 is a million gross. And if you want a million saved, you still need to save 25,000, right? So roughly 2,000 change a month. If you just do simple maths, I'm not saying that's easy, but I'm saying like you may not be saving that today for the next 25 years, but chances are you keep thinking like, okay, how do I make more? How do I make more? And then through the reflection and iteration and optimizing and enhancing this process, you'll probably figure out towards the tail end or whenever, like, hey, I'm making now 120 and then 240, and then maybe it's 260, maybe it's 320 the next year, maybe it goes down to 240, then it goes up to 520, right? So like, depending on like if you're in business versus like just working a stable type of, job per se. So the point is, you'll be saving way more per month instead of just this 2,000 on average. So that's more like journaling slash reflecting of understanding like, hey, I'm doing these actions today, but where do I net out? 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, etc. It's not about using all your energy to trade your time for money, but sometimes it's using time to just breathe, to have creativity, to think to yourself like, hey, if I just take a step back, the whole, one step back, two steps forward type of deal, it's exactly that. For me, I've seen multifold returns by just having the opportunity to execute, 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 execute. And then it seems from afar like I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually learning information. I'm digesting it. I'm thinking, okay, hey, based on what I know now, the knowledge base of today, what is that new input that I can, insert into this, whole cog of a system in my head of like what I know about, let's say, money or what I know about whatever it is, right? And when you, man, take that step, especially if it works out, amazing. And if it doesn't, guess what? You have one more lesson learned that just goes under your belt. And for me personally, like if I say it in a financial way, let's say you have money as bullets, and these bullets are, let's say, just making it simple, right? Let's say it's like $100 to invest into some idea, or $1,000. It doesn't matter. The point is, you're putting a shot towards something that could give you outsized return if that's the way you set it up. And it doesn't take, let's say, a million tries to realize a million times that you screwed up. Like, no, you will learn so many more lessons by just taking those few shots, that you'll learn so many more lessons by just taking the little action. In other words, taking action gives you that feedback loop to know, like, okay, what am I willing to do next? Am I willing to do that big, big, big extra next step, or am I not? Or like, why do I not want to? You learn a lot about yourself by just doing. And it sounds like common sense. But when it comes to like millionaire habits, I'm talking about, let's say, certain investments. And I'm not saying just trading in the stock market or, hey, investing into real estate. I'm saying taking those steps into, let's say, hey, do I want to be a part of a deal where maybe there's a partnership to buy, let's say, whatever, like 5,000 units of apartments, right? Maybe there's 50 people that are in this deal. So on average, let's just say it's an equal partnership of like 100 units per person. And let's say for whatever reason, you want to cash out and you realize, wait a second, I need to get all these partners' approval. There's 99 of them. I need to get at least, let's say, 75% of their approval, and someone needs to be willing to front the cash to then buy you out for me to be cashed out, and blah blah blah. And there's a lot of stuff. And then so people realize, maybe, hey, maybe I don't want to be a part of a partnership, even though it seems really cool, and it's like there's something known as a syndicate. And so without getting too detailed into that aspect, you can say like a lot of people are coming together to pool money to then have this huge leveraged asset, which in other words, if you have something that is worth, just say 10 mil, simply put, where when you're all together, like that 10 mil thing could be worth, let's say, $1 billion, like whenever in the future, versus when you're alone, maybe you're, let's just say 100K, it could, let's say, 100x, right? But when you have something like 100 mil or something, or 10 mil in this case, at two more zeros, then you're at basically what? You're at $1 billion, right? So it's just like this, right? It's which scale of game do you want to play? How much risk appetite do you have? And so these type of things, it's all up to the individual. But by literally not doing, you have no new input. And you could live forever if you have a nice little nest egg or cash or whatever. And it's your game to play, right? But what got you here won't get you there. And so, like, by doing a whole lot of nothing, did I arrive here at this point? No. But I know that if I'm willing to just keep going, it's like a game. Because if I don't do anything, the game's over. So I might as well keep going. And the fifth millionaire habit that I want to reintroduce into my life, because it's literally been lacking and it's so simple, but I think that it changes everything. Because as simple as it sounds, it's literally me waking up and chugging a liter of water, if not 1.5 liters. And roughly, if you have 2 liters, that's like half a gallon. And I would do it and I would feel great. Your body's flowing, your mind is going. It's not just like caffeine in the morning first thing. It's like you are like, things are happening, man. And I'm not saying just digestively. I'm saying like that is like an input to just like keep it going. And if you're using a restroom, sure, but that's like, it's motion, it's activity, it's just keeping yourself in momentum by doing natural things that are not like forcing you to do it. And it solves itself, because it's basically like, taking that first walk in the morning instead of like the first coffee. That first water charges up everything to just keep on going. So with that, if you came this far, I appreciate you, and integrate some of these habits into your life, because I used to, and then I let them go. And now I want to bring them back. And this is me saying that I will, and I'm excited about the future. So let's go. Good luck. See you in the next one. Peace.